In this video, we're exposing one of the biggest Social Security myths in America, the so-called $3,200 SSI rule. You've seen the posts, you've heard the rumors, a secret activation, a quiet approval, a hidden benefit boost. But when we dug into the official records, the SSA, the Federal Register, the legal codes, there was nothing. Not a single rule, not a single update, not a single dollar. So why did millions believe it? Because when money's tight, hope feels real. But here's the part no one is ready for. The lie wasn't the interesting part. The truth was. Because while everyone chased the $3,200 myth, the government was quietly rolling out real changes, small, powerful, life-changing, that almost nobody noticed. And at the very end of this video, I'm going to reveal the one detail that created the entire $3,200 confusion. And trust me, it's not what you think. Let's begin.
It started with a promise, or maybe just the illusion of one. They called it the $3,200 SSI rule, a hidden law, a quiet activation, a secret government bonus that millions of Americans believed was their long-awaited break. It sounded too good to be true. And that's because it was. The internet said it was quietly activated. They claimed President Trump had secretly approved a $3,200 benefit boost for SSI and SSDI recipients. But when we went searching for the truth through the Social Security Administration, the Federal Register, and the Code of Federal Regulations, the trail went cold. There was nothing there. The truth, though, was far more fascinating than the lie. Because while millions were chasing fake promises, the real changes, the quiet, small, powerful ones, were already happening in plain sight. This is the story of how a myth fooled millions and how the truth never needed to shout. It just needed to be seen.
They said it was activated, that the $3,200 rule had gone live, that direct deposits were already showing up. People online swore by it. Screenshots, videos, Facebook posts, all claiming the same thing. Trump's $3,200 SSI rule is now in effect. But when we checked the official records, there was nothing. No activation date, no federal memo, no code called 32000A. The truth? This activation never existed. The only real numbers the SSA recognizes are the ones that have existed for decades. $2,000 for individuals, $3,000 for couples, limits frozen since 1974. And yet, in the spring of 2025, thousands of seniors and disabled Americans waited by their phones, checking their accounts, hoping this time the rumor might be real. Because hope has a sound, doesn't it? The quiet buzz of possibility, the heartbeat of maybe. But hope can be dangerous when it's built on fiction. There was no activation, no update, no $3,200, just a rumor that preyed on people's trust.
Every official policy, every benefit change has to appear in one place, the Federal Register. It's the public record. And when we searched it for the $3,200 SSI rule, there were zero results. None. The only updates listed were cost of living adjustments, privacy notices, and data sharing agreements, the boring but real side of government. People said it was hidden, but there's no such thing as a hidden law in the United States. If it's not in the register, it doesn't exist. And yet, thousands believed they just hadn't looked deep enough. That's how misinformation works. It hides in the shadows of what could be true. Because a fake law feels real when life keeps getting harder and real help feels too far away.
This is where the myth took root, in the chaos of 2020. Because, yes, President Trump did sign off on emergency checks under the CARES Act.
Billions of dollars went out. People on SSI and SSDI did receive money. And that's where it happened. That perfect mix of truth and confusion that breeds a viral lie. Those checks were called economic impact payments, not SSI raises. The SSA excluded them from income so people wouldn't lose benefits. Helpful, right? But the internet twisted that detail into a story. Trump just changed the rules forever. Only he didn't. There was no permanent law, no $3,200 threshold, just temporary relief for a country in crisis. But to people struggling to buy food, that relief felt like a miracle. And miracles are easy to misunderstand when you're desperate.
Then came the so-called continuity rule. Social media said it was Trump's hidden law that guaranteed uninterrupted SSI payments, a secret reform called Supplemental Support Index Rebalancing. Sounds official, right? But those words don't exist in any federal document, not once. The real rule behind the myth: payment continuation during an appeal, a regulation from the 1970s that ensures your benefits keep coming while you fight a denial. It's old, public, and unchanged. But someone online renamed it, rebranded it, and sold it as something new. Because continuity rule sounds heroic, and boring truths don't go viral. Now here's where things got messy. Underpayments. Between 2021 and 2023, the SSA found over $7 billion in benefits that had been delayed or miscalculated. Real people were owed real money. When they got it, they posted online, screenshots, deposits, letters, and the internet filled in the blanks. See, they said, that's the $3,200 rule. But it wasn't. Those weren't new benefits. They were corrections. Old money finally catching up. Some people got a few $100s, some more. Not because of Trump, not because of a new rule, but because the system was fixing its own mistakes. It's not glamorous, but it's justice in slow motion.
While the internet obsessed over fake payouts, the SSA was making quiet, meaningful reforms that actually helped people. In March 2024, they removed the food penalty, the rule that reduced your benefits if someone gave you groceries. Think about that, being punished for being fed. The change let millions accept food help without losing their SSI. Then came another fix, reducing overpayment recovery from 100% to just 10%. Before, if SSA accidentally overpaid you, they could take your whole check back. Now, they can only take a small piece each month. Quiet reforms, real compassion. But because they weren't dramatic, no one noticed.
The SSA can pay retroactive benefits, that's true. When they raise payments, they can apply it backward to cover what you missed. It's called backpay. Legal, real, routine. But scammers love twisting this truth into fiction. They say, you're owed $3,200. The SSA just hasn't processed it yet. That's a lie. Retroactive payments are based on math, not miracles.
The real numbers never changed. The 2025 federal benefit rate is $967 for individuals and $1,450 for couples. The rest? Calculations, exclusions, technical stuff. The $3,200 figure, a random number that sounds official enough to believe. Because when you're struggling, every new promise feels worth one more click. Every viral claim said the same thing. You can now earn $3,200 and still get full SSI. But the SSA's rulebook says the opposite. $967 is the limit, always has been. The lie survived because it was hopeful, not because it was true. Want the truth? It's one click away.
ssa.gov/my-account. That's the only real portal where you can see your payments, your benefits, your history. No secret code, no 32000A, just your data, your record, your truth. If it's not there, it's not real.
The SSA will never call you first, never text, never DM, never tell you to claim your benefit. Every real message comes through your official account or mail. The scammers call you, the government doesn't. If someone says they're from SSA and offers $3,200, hang up.
Behind the scenes, the SSA runs one of the most secure systems in government. Every person has one Social Security number, cross-checked with IRS data, death records, and the Department of Homeland Security. If a new rule existed, the system would show it instantly. But it doesn't, because the machine doesn't lie. People do.
Some said, I got 2 checks in 1 month. Proof of the $3,200 rule. But it wasn't proof, it was the calendar. When the first falls on a weekend or holiday, payments move up. December's check sometimes lands twice, one for December, one for January. That's not a bonus, that's just time doing its thing. Others claimed Congress reactivated Trump's SSI plan through a secret clause. But Social Security doesn't shut down. It doesn't need reactivation. Its funding is permanent. There's no clause, no trigger, no reawakening, just continuity, always funded, always running. So why didn't the media talk about it? Because there was nothing to report. No document, no law, no change. And journalists, tired of endless fake stories, just stopped chasing shadows. The myth didn't spread because it was true. It spread because it was exciting. By 2025, politics had turned into theater. Some promised targeted relief, others demanded universal payments. Everyone had a side. But for the people at the bottom, the only thing they wanted was peace of mind. And that's what the fake $3,200 rule gave them. A few minutes of imagined peace. When you feel invisible, even a fake promise feels like hope. If this rule were real, the internet would be flooded with proof. Deposits, screenshots, testimonies. But there's nothing, just silence. Millions checked their accounts and saw the same thing. $0 extra. Silence can be proof too. The scam isn't new. In 2022, they said there was a $600 COLA bonus. In 2025, it was $3,200. The script never changes. Urgency, secrecy, and fake generosity. And every time the SSA's Inspector General reminds people, if it's not on ssa.gov, it doesn't exist. Simple, clear, final. So here's what's real. There is no $3,200 SSI rule. There never was. But there are quiet victories, real reforms that make life a little fairer. Backpay corrections, food rule changes, debt recovery limits. They're small, they're real, and they matter. The fake rule gave people hope for a week. The real system gives them stability for life. And maybe that's the bigger truth. Hope doesn't always wear a headline. Sometimes it whispers from inside the fine print. In the end, there was no secret check, no activation, no hidden code. Just a myth born from desperation and a truth too quiet to trend. Because the truth doesn't shout. It just waits for someone like you to finally listen.